You mentioned it, Remo. This is the Winnerbracket Final in Group B. This is the DreamHack Winter Fall Asia champion, where he defeated Fly and Lin back-to-back in this very matchup, versus the next Winter champion, FoCuS. And this is actually a rematch of the next semi-final, where FoCuS was able to break the streak of 1-2-0 and took it one step further and won it all in the end. FoCuS with a 4-0 win streak at the moment versus Undead, looking incredibly hot on the way into the Winnerbracket Final. He has defeated Lin with a 2-0. 1-2-0 was struggling a little versus Fortitude, but was able to take maps back-to-back. Both seem to be in very good shape, and this is gonna be something special, I feel.
Hells yeah. Of course, FoCuS's best finish at WGL, or rather at Gold League, was top 3. It took me a second. Top 3 finish back then against Czech. That was many years ago. Never made it to the final. Whereas, of course, 1-2-0 was able to win this tournament before. That also is a while ago, though.
3.5 years, man. The start of the Gold Series was definitely 1-2-0s, back-to-back finals in the first and second edition, and then back-to-back wins in the third and fourth edition. Since then, though, not the deepest runs. Not at all. He was the Gold King, glitched out of his hands a little bit, and it's time to get crowned here once again. We got the map picks and bans. FoCuS banning Amazonia and Last Refuge, 1-2-0 Concealed and Terranas. So we start on Echo Isles, go to Northern Isles if FoCuS wins this, and FoCuS's loser pick is, no surprise, Turtle Rock.
Concealed Hill being vetoed here by 1-0. Interesting. It's pretty unusual. I guess without TM in the pool, this is a lot less worry for the Undead. Twisted Meadows, normally a very bad map for UD in this matchup, regardless of what strategy you're playing. So I guess that is doing 1-0 a few favors here. And FoCuS, those map bans look very antique, I almost want to say. AZ, LR, we used to see that a lot against the, DK Fiend standard. But Cryptlord loves playing 1-0 loves playing Cryptlord as well. In fact, in next winter he played it. But FoCuS showed with a Farseer Firelord, that's where he debuted it, a very strong style against that as well. Is the strategic shift between them once again more gravitating towards standard? Looks like FoCuS is certainly expecting more DK again.
Yeah, looks like it. Interesting picks. Of course, the last match between them, high stakes, is very, very fresh, just 2 weeks ago. If you look at the Warcraft 3 info ranking, they are incredibly close together, 7th versus 8th position. And here we have our players, 1-2-0 on the left-hand side. Silver medalist of the World Cyber Games team event, and FoCuS. Yeah, we don't have to introduce him anymore. 15 years without a premier title, and then came next. The hottest FoCuS that we've probably ever seen. Can he take it one round further? This is also a rematch of WGTL, one of the deciding matches in ELL versus LP Club. Last Refuge it was. FoCuS had the lead the entire time, and then there was the last fight that was absolutely crazy. And 1-2-0 smashed the fight and won the series for ELL. We got the DreamHack Fall champion in the upper right, and the next Winter champion FoCuS in the upper left. Best of 3 to the playoffs. First to 2, obviously, in summer. Both made it into the quarterfinal for 1-2-0. That was once again a meeting with Moon. And you know, in high-stakes tournaments, how that goes. That was a win for Moon. FoCuS in the quarterfinal was up against TH, and nobody really gave him something. And he took the first 2 maps. And it was so close to the semi-final, and then the revenge of TH, 3 maps in a row, reverse sweep. Since then, FoCuS has picked up that skill of being able to reverse sweeping his opponents. That happened in the next grand final. That happened in the qualifier for DreamHack Winter. So FoCuS got his nerves together and his fighting spirit up.
And he's coming into this prepared. Like we saw earlier from Fly, he's going for a Peon Scout here as well. He wants to make sure he knows what the Undead is going to be playing early. And he sees the Ghoul build and the Crypt Lord. Especially on Echo Isles, that is not too surprising to see. And now I'm very, very interested. Is this going to be Fire Lord second once again? The heavy pressure that we saw from FoCuS before? And if it is, how is 1-0 going to react? Nice deny on the Peon. 1-0 goes down to the expansion right away. He's not worried about this Farseer harassing at the start.
Yeah, we've seen this not only from FoCuS. He introduced this strategy, becoming a lot more creative than he used to be. Fly picked it up, and it looked very good as well. So, the initial harass with wolves. How much damage can FoCuS do? Beetles under attack, ghouls under attack. 1-0 at the moment, able to save pretty much everything. It's about a lot about this Ogre Magi here.
And 1-0 got that one as well. He's so good about playing around these Lassets. We've seen that time and time again from the Undead. Tech is progressing, shop is coming up. It's very important for FoCuS not to lose any units. If you lose even a single wolf, that will be the level up for the Crypt Lord, and with that, Impale. Crypt Lord got the last creep there, got 1.9, got the Gloves of Haste, and now so close to that level 2. But the Acolyte is almost dead. If that one falls, that's the expansion delayed by a long time.
Ooh, we don't see it at the moment. We only see the Farseer in the base, but we don't see a Haunted Gold Mine on the overlay, like on the mini-map. So with the wolf still around, it looks like he was... No, he was not. Wasn't able to kill it. So it just barely escapes. 1-0 playing nicely around that. The win condition for the Undead, getting that expo up.
Ghoul's getting pressured in the main. That's going to limit 1-0's lumber income quite a bit. So with that, tier 2 might be delayed. One Ghoul went down. But so far, it doesn't seem like the Farseer is doing that much. Getting the shop kill would be something. But there's Impale. And that is a surround. Once again, Farseer forced to use that TP early. And I feel like 1-0 is always so great at preserving his mana. He used the Impale, but he still has half HP left. Yeah, half mana left.
Wasn't too many beetles then. He's far away from the middle of the map, where of course the shop would be the one to creep. And that grunt at the tavern, if that's not an indicator for a Fire Lord, I don't know what is. Mass summons again.
Alright, this is really cool. So 1-0 was expecting this. He scouts for it. He sees it. He knew this would be coming. So what's his new solution to deal with it?
And next it was a 2-1, so it's not that FoCuS is undefeatable with that strategy. First response is, oh, double Beastery as well. Goes for the Murlocs here. Not at the Mercenary camp where FoCuS kind of expected him, but here comes the big push. First tower gone. FoCuS also supply stuck at 31. I hope he built that next burrow.
1-0 here, fighting on Blight as much as he can. Going for a pretty early graveyard. Fiends can definitely help. Tier 2 will be delayed by a long time. Ideally, you want to fight the summons a little bit, but not enough for the lava spawn to split. They will after some point.
Grunts around. I think it was denied. 2.3 now, still. But still good mana.
Oh, yeah.
FoCuS has to be careful. FoCuS gotta be careful. Here's the Impale. Is he going for surround again? Just barely squeezes out with the speed scroll. Another grunt surrounded though. 1-0 is getting one kill after the next, and this time the tower is not in range. That's level 2.5. Lava spawns are about to split, I think. He's taking care of them now. Only 2 remaining.
And with the graveyard finish, we're going to have a Spirit Tower coming up here soon. Around half a minute or so, and then it's going to be done. And no grunts left. The lava spawn did okay. Not that tremendously. Crypt Lord in the meantime, close to level 3. And 1-0 feels confident enough to start teching. This Fire Lord push, not that scary anymore.
No, tech before the 6-minute mark. Expo seems to be safe and saturated. Not many Acolytes fell, and now FoCuS. Is it Wyvern? Is it the big air pressure when the Undead has no anti-air until tier 2? Lava spawn splits this time. That was close. Always close. And it's only one grunt remaining. 2 ghouls, very, very hurt, split to the side. Now it's Wyvern and more pressure time.
Cancels the, I think it was a Necro, which is pretty nice, but can he go into the towers? Earlier we thought there's no way Fly could attack the towers, but he found an opening. Maybe FoCuS can do the same. That Spirit Tower represents a lot of damage, however.
Yes, and has also good coverage. This is just buying time for a tier 3 and probably a tiny Great Hall. He's very, very broke at the moment, so has to bank a little bit. Only level 1 heroes for FoCuS. No Chain Lightning, no Incinerate / Soul Burn. And the next grunt falls. Almost. Sends him back in. No. Okay, seems to know what he does.
I'm a little worried for the Farseer here. He's low HP, could be in range of the towers, but there's the Ensnare, and that's very effective against the Fiends right now. That is an easy snipe. FoCuS making use of his superior tech right now. Oh, and the Ghoul is also gonna fall.
Running into the creeps, one gets saved. The Fiend re-rallied to the north. Tier 2 tech about to finish. Then we got double Crypt and Fiends and Web and the solution for the Wyvern. But until then, more pressure. There's the shop gone. And it's hunting time on these ghouls. One of them very, very hurt, and it doesn't take much FoCuS Fire. Level 2 for the Fire Lord as well. And I wonder, is it Soul Burn again? No, it's Incinerate this time.
Crippler comes back into the main. A lot of ghouls going down over here. So far, FoCuS has lost nothing.
FoCuS has also no TP, no speed scroll. This is ambitious. This is very ambitious.
Oh, tier 2 finishes. More damage, more slow coming in from that Halls of the Dead now. Crippler hits level 3, going for the Beetles right away.
Okay, pulling back before the big upgrades are here. DK coming. And now what? Can he stay on 1-0's side of the map? Can he kill the shop again? He can't stay for much longer. Then there's Weapon Fiends.
Again. 1-0. Looks like he's about to stabilize. But FoCuS, he did a great job, man. He killed so many units, slowed down 1-0 super effectively, and now got to tier 3. I'm not disliking FoCuS's position at all here. But the thing is, he's got a Fire Lord, not a Torrent Chieftain. How strong is he gonna be once we move towards like 70 supply and such?
He can definitely creep up big time for level 3 Farseer very early on. And then, yeah, you might have Fiends, but you don't have the spell still for a long time. And they can wreak havoc. Fire Lord level 3 can do a lot if it's left alone. Can also be an easy solution with Banshees, with a little bit of FoCuS Fire. Fire Lord, very fragile.
Earlier in Fly's game, we saw how important it is with this Orc style to always play from ahead. Don't let the undead comfortably get to high supply, high levels. Don't let them arrive in the late game. In fact, 1-0 isn't even teching to tier 3 yet. His lumber was so low because of how many ghouls he lost earlier.
FoCuS building the tiny Great Hall in the face of the creeps, baiting them a little. Not wasting any time here, not even a split second. And Scroll of the Beast can also be really powerful. If used correctly in a fight without destroyers, the damage on the Wyvern is going to skyrocket.
Speaking of, we have Envenomed Spears coming in as well. There's a Raider here, but only one.
Does he have a little bit of control? That's what he needs. Or the Ensnare flies again. Call comes in. Wyvern really fragile. 2 about to die. Scroll of Protection to counter that Scroll of the Beast. But this is good damage, and this coil misses. FoCuS getting kill after kill.
Yeah, taking out one Fiend after the next over here. Ooh. If the Fiends die to the Incinerate, by the way, they leave no corpses behind. Can't use the Beetles with that. DK in trouble.
Another Farseer. Farseer has to evacuate. There's still no TP, still no potion. He's really waiting. Oh my! That was the Incinerate long shot. And that's the DK and the healer gone. 2 more Fiends about to drop. The Envenomed Spears are kicking in now.
Oh, the
FoCuS
Fiends
pushing. Whoa! For what I was about to say.
Ooh.
6 supply on 2 HP.
Beetle's going towards the expansion, but they're all kind of hurt already. Good game here by FoCuS. 1-0, still only tier 2.
And the Burrow is dealing with these beetles. Tier 3 ready for quite a while. I think FoCuS, he should play it a little more careful with the TP invul, maybe. Hero FoCuS always a way back, even though it's only tier 2 heroes.
The thing is 1-0, if he's just facing Wyvern, he doesn't even need tier 3. Just a whole bunch of Fiends, Statues, and Banshees might be enough. Very interesting game. The DK being dead certainly hurts. Can't continue to creep. Would love to have level 3, obviously, but now it's Scribbler getting the experience here. He gets to level 4. But that Impale won't be effective against the Wyvern. Even if they're webbed, Impale does not affect them.
Love the style of FoCuS, man. It's so cool. So explosive. Maybe he has to transition to something. Needs 2.5 volleys from the Wyvern to kill that Fiend. He gets number 1. He gets number 2. This time, there's dust. So Burrow doesn't help him. Incinerate again on the Fiend. And as you said, no corpses. Again, 6 supply about to drop. But also the Wyvern. Very, very hurt.
Yeah, they're both about to lose a ton over here. That was the last charge of dust, by the way. In a few more seconds, Burrow can be used again. Great kiting by 1-0. These Wyvern are all disappearing. Uh-oh.
46 supply only. There was 2 Fiends going down as well, thanks to the Wolves. But yeah, on the upper left-hand side, there was crazy FoCuS fire, even without a ledge. 2 invul potions for 1-0. Is it time for the Pendulum to swing back? He gets 2 more. Webs off.
I think FoCuS in trouble. He lost so many units. And that's the thing. When you don't have a TC with Stomp, it's so hard to protect these Wyvern in the late game. So smart by 1-0 to not go tier 3. He didn't need tier 3. What he needed was items like scrolls and mana potions and fiends. A whole bunch of fiends. And 2 heroes would be enough. Now, suddenly a leading position for 1-0. What's he going to do with that? Is he going to push across the map? He could use this space right now to just go tier 3 if he wants.
Yeah. I would really like to see Soul Burn on the Fire Lord, like 1-2-1 build. Lava spawns for the push, then for the second coming Incinerate, and then into Soul Burn for the silence on the DK. But that's not happening. Level 2 lava spawns apparently better.
Yeah, lava spawn in the early game for pushing really good, but in this late game here, around 60 supply, they hardly do anything anymore. And here's the push now.
Oh, it's so powerful. It's so many fiends. It was supposed to be the day of the orcs. Fly has paved the way already. FoCuS looked really good, but stuck with the Wyvern now. Gets, of course, a lot of gold at the moment, but at some point he has to spend it.
That Impale barely missed, dude. If that hits the Farseer, he might be dead. He's got the invul, but can't use it if you're stunned.
Oh, the beetles clean the peon line. So powerful. Wyvern getting webbed once again. It takes 1 volley to kill them off. They are the glass cannon unit. You are aware of that when you play them. Firelord and FoCuS Fire gets a little bit of healing. That's too
Everything's
much.
webbed. That's all gonna die. This is it. FoCuS gonna lose this first map.
GG indeed! 1-2-0 takes it. And that is 3 wins in a row for Undead. And he was under so much pressure. Still took it in the end. Once you muscle up, have enough Fiends and Web, these Wyvern aren't doing it anymore. We saw Fly mixing in Raiders. That was really helpful. And 1-2-0 in many matchups is ignoring the fact that Undead has tier 3.
And that's so smart. He analyzes the situation very well. So many others would just go blindly autopilot tier 3 Lich, Orb, all that. Against Wyvern, you don't need a Lich and an Orb. You have enough damage. That's not the problem. It's about surviving. And for that, you need more Fiends, maybe more Statues, and a couple of upgrades. A few upgrades on those Fiends also worked out well. FoCuS still played a good game. Got a nice timing on the counter expansion. Did so much damage early on, but it only takes one overextension, all the Wyvern getting webbed, and suddenly that game turns into a disaster.
Absolutely. It looked like the game is on the edge of tipping towards FoCuS with so many Fiend kills, especially at that shop with the Beast Scroll. But he couldn't really play from there. Couldn't get a win out of his advantage. And that was the first map loss in the tournament for the org. Wonder if 120 saw that there's a Beast Scroll and went for Protection Scroll that way. The Burrows also, if he has Dust in the first fight, this might be game, but here, 1, 2, 3, 4 Wyvern in quick succession, just gone.
And they are very much momentum based. If you lose a couple of them and you don't have that critical mass anymore, there's too many Fiends, suddenly this all falls apart. Again, shows us how insanely well this was done earlier by Fly, knowing exactly how far he can push it, where he needed to be, and to never give up that advantage. You can never give up the lead with this Farseer, Wyvern, and Firelord style. Once you do, the game ends pretty much. So this is the lead for 120. FoCuS has to catch up on his map pick. Turtle Rock, the specialty of WGL in this map pool. We don't have Twisted, but we do have Turtle Rock. And FoCuS gonna try here on this map.
Okay, of course, specialty of Turtle Rock. There's plenty, but there's no critters. That's probably the most important one for the early game. It is doable with the Farseer to creep. Lots of medium armor creeps around. Depending on the starting position, shops are really important because of the Watcher Ward, and the red spots in the upper right and bottom left have heal runes. 4 consumable on the back of the turtle could become an issue as well. Very susceptible to normal damage, which Wolf have and Grunts have. Maybe if he plays it a little more careful in the early game and not lose 3 Grunts, this looks a little better for FoCuS overall.
Yeah, crucial question for the Undead, of course, is it viable to fast expand? On some maps, like Echo Isles, the answer is certainly yes. On others, the answer is no. Amazonia, you can't do it. TM, you can't do it. And Concealed probably also can't do it. Turtle Rock, I'm not even sure. I haven't seen this match, this map and this matchup with the Cryptlord fast expansion before. It seems like it shouldn't work.
Yeah.
The expos are really hard to do. Maybe 120 has a way, but it seems like it should be very hard. And in that case, if it is so hard for the Undead to expand, if it's basically impossible, then there's no need to play Farseer, is there? So it could just be a Blade Master.
Blade Master is very good for the shop creep. Blade Master can be pimped like crazy on this map, with a lot of claw spots, and of course 2 red spots here, or like in total 4 red spots. In the next semi-final, 120 was also able to take Echo Isles. That was the first map, and then FoCuS showed his comeback potential. Is it just history repeating? Turtle Rock, of course, a specialty.
Yeah, Turtle Rock can be a very difficult map, especially for Night Elf and Human, but Undeads and Orcs have always liked this map quite a bit. Very large, lots of stuff to creep, lots of wonderful items to find, and as Undead and Orc, you can kind of creep very easily. You're not relying on Militia, you're not relying on Ancient of War. With heal salves and skeletons, you can do it fairly easily. With beetles, perhaps even more easily.
Let's go! Match points for 120. Is he following Fly as the second player into the playoffs? Would be a very, very good day for China. With Fly defeating Mikhail, with Shao Kai defeating Sok, with 120 defeating FoCuS.
I'm keeping my eyes glued to these altars. Are we gonna see a Blade Master? I think that's a Ghoul build, right? Yes, it certainly is.
Yep.
Ghoul build by 120. No DK Fiend standard. So basically has to be Cryptlord, I suppose. How the hell is he gonna expand on Turtle Rock?
Well, if he's left alone, neighborhood. Oh, DK.
Oh, DK ghouls, really?
Against the Farseer. I thought maybe with
FoCuS
Cryptlord
is not scouting.
I thought with Cryptlord and Beetles, you can maybe creep the neighbor's starting position. But that doesn't seem to be the play. Or maybe it is. With cross position here, both should have ownership of one of the shops. It's a big map, of course. There's a lot to creep. Distance through the middle is not as much as Twisted, but still very large.
So DK ghouls can creep super fast on this map if you're left alone. So it's going to be up to the Farseer to apply pressure. And, you know, this is normally not what the Orc wants to see. If you're playing Farseer, you're banking on the fact that there's a fast expansion. You can pressure heavily. Usually, in the late game at least, Farseer doesn't necessarily match up so well against the Death Knight. Unless you get ahead with an expansion, which is still always a possibility. Farseer, TC, Tier 2 Expo. We've seen that quite a bit in the past. Very interesting.
Yeah, historically, these two, by the way, very, very close in maps. It's 50-40 in favor of 1-0. So they are trading wins pretty much. There's always a little bit of a streak for one of the players, but it never lasts too long. There's always one player in a little bit of a slump, and then the other catching up, and then there's a revenge. It's a really cool dynamic between the two. So FoCuS knows what's up. What can he do about it?
Yeah, I like that he's playing this aggressively. The level 2 level up is a monumental one for the DK. It's a game changer. So slowing that down as much as you can is recommended. Farseer level 2 is nice, but it's not as tremendous as that for the Death Knight. And Farseer just in general, a hero who does way better on low levels, even in the late stages, compared to the DK. And that, combined with the fact that ghouls can creep up very fast here, FoCuS has to play this aggressively and buy time for his tier 2. It's the TC, really, who's going to be carrying the late game for him. While...
yeah, TC on TR. It's a match made in heaven oftentimes. So much to creep, so fast to creep. Good, like, space to position him. There's not too many chokes here.
The ghouls? Oh, don't quite getting the last hit. But nice attempt by 1-0, even just keeping this in mind, that he can try something like that. And even if he doesn't get the last hit, he's got scouting with that and can safely creep up the DK more, getting the claws there. One ghoul. Oh, no ghouls were lost for this either, so nice play from both players.
As it should be in the winner bracket final. DK with claws, and once again the cloak. Let's see if he can do something this time. Big damage on the DK. Farseer keeps up the damage, is evading the surrounds, has good health, good mana as well. He can stay there for a little and buy time and space. Ooh, double beast again. This time...
against one base.
Yeah. This time maybe Raiders? Raiders creep horribly. But maybe he goes 1-2 Wyvern into Mass Raiders.
When you see ghouls, going Wyvern is of course tempting. Good damage against them, can't shoot back, but there will be a Fiend transition. And Fiends with Web are very good against Wyvern, as we saw earlier.
Whoever loses, by the way, must be afraid to be head-to-head with Lin in the lower bracket final. His match is coming up next against Fortitude, rushing tier 3 with a Lich second.
And here we have the Expo creep by FoCuS. 1-0 was scouting for it just a second ago. Oh, and he's scouting for it again. FoCuS would love to just be left alone right now, creep the red, but 1-0 is not allowing this. Very, very important. 1-0 making the choice to slow down his level 3 progress and rather be aggressive in case of an Expo creep. Crucial move here at the beginning of the mid-game.
Okay, a little bit of a steal to prevent leveling on the TEC. He might need some tanky items. Coil Nova is going to be big. And it's no Wyvern immediately into Raiders.
Those Raiders are going to give him very good catch. Are going to give him map control for a little while. 1-0 will have to fall back at that point. But now what 1-0 does is, okay, he delayed him a little bit and is satisfied with that. The inches that these players operate at, knowing how much they have to push and when they can fall back, what is the decent position and what is not, so impressive to see. And he's right, because if now he was to go in, if he had overextended, he would have run into the end snare, Stomps following, he would have lost quite a few ghouls, but as it is here, 1-0, keeps everything alive and gets the Watch Award.
Yeah. On the other side, Boots of Kel'Thalas. Grunt very hurt. Needs to heal self. Claws +9 for the Lich. A warm welcome to the Ice King. Wyvern. Wait, Raider fake into Wyvern? I am confused.
Yeah, just a handful of Raiders for a bit of ensnare. You have to have some other units. The Raiders just straight up horrible at fighting. Kind of only useful for the ensnare. But yeah, this is the time where FoCuS can do something. Once again, now it's FoCuS's turn to realize what he can do, what he should do. He's asserting dominance. He's making use of his map control that he still has. Once 1-0 gets to the orb and to 50 supply, he's going to become stronger again. But FoCuS aware that this is his window to do something, achieve something.
For sure. Without the tier 3, without level 3, without level 2. Oh, FoCuS with an end snare, with a second end snare. Trying to position perfectly for the Storm, but just a little bit too late. TP was used already. Damage done. Oh, Grunt exit kill. But the big turtle goes to him. Bad here for orcs. The turtles all have like thorns. Not aura, but no, a thorn's passive. So they reflect melee damage. Not too much though.
This was painful for FoCuS. He lost 2 units there. Wasted a stomp. He forced the TP, but this was definitely the way better trade for 1-2-0. He's got a few ghouls still. Could have Frenzy coming in soon. And a third hero could be coming in for the undead here as well. DK about to hit level 3. And here we have her, the Dark Ranger. Silence or Black Arrow. Both would be really good.
Okay, Black Arrow it is. Not too much to kill for creeping, of course. It's absolutely insane. Coil Nova on the Raider. Not much control in FoCuS's army anymore. Very early Invo Potion. And the heroes are already at 50% HP capacity. He can get 2 ghouls, maybe. That Raider is so important, but 1-0 pulls back right before the first ensnare.
And the TC misclicked there. He used the invul when he tried to go for the heal salve, so that item is gone now as well. He's still not level 3. That's the most important thing. No level 2 Stomp to fear for 1-2-0. But he doesn't have statues on the ground anymore. Stomp comes in, hits 2 fiends, but none of the heroes. Good ensnare. That destroyer getting trapped and getting killed pretty quickly. Aggressive coils against the Wyvern. Not saving it for the fiends. TC looking for the next stomp, but it's still only level 1. The fact that the TC is low level really hurts FoCuS right now. Finally gets the level 3.
Okay, that Fiend gets saved finally. The Wolf still good. Scroll the Beast used on 1-2-0 this time. How much damage can he do? Oh, big damage! Destroyer falls, Fiend falls, 1-0 dropping heavily in supply, all while FoCuS is establishing his expansion. But now we got silence against that devious Stomp.
Dark Ranger still has good mana. The Lich doesn't really. But experience is looking fairly strong. Lich almost level 3 now. DK has 1 coil left. Statues coming in from the main. With that, more sustain for 1-2-0. But yeah, he certainly lost quite a bit over there.
Continues to creep. Both of them are. 2-based Orc. Can easily get up to 50 and beyond. He already has the burrow for it. And Mana Potion can, of course, always change everything. No fortification at the expo yet.
Yeah, 1-0 seems to have strong enough hero levels here that he perhaps doesn't even have to push. If the undead gets up to 4-4-3 hero levels, he can outfight way higher supply quite easily.
Yeah.
High level heroes are the bane of any kind of tier 2 army. And of course, FoCuS is only tier 2. Can't really afford tier 3 too easily.
He knows.
1-0 keeps on creeping.
He knows. He's looking for the aggression. He's looking for creep jacks. And he has a very good idea of what's happening. Watch Award, of course, for 1-0. Can't steal that away, but a town portal might be pulled. Oh, guess what? There is none. Stump comes in. No coil at the moment to heal any units. Time to do damage for FoCuS. Constantly attacking these destroyers. Piercing damage, of course, very good against them. Who can do more damage? Again, a Scroll of the Beast for 120. That coil arrives in time. And Snare Lock on the Fiend. Even the Grunt gets out. Stomp on the Skeletons. So they can't kill the Raider on the left-hand side. This might be one additional and Snare. But the TC, gotta be careful. Invo Potion once again.
Great kiting by 120. Amazing job with the destroyers, keeping them alive. DK now gets to level 4, and FoCuS has to fall back with his tail tucked between his legs. TC still low HP. Invul about to run out. Low mana as well. And the red camp will be going to 120. Doesn't even need a TP. Look at the confidence by this guy.
Nobody is running away from this, Remo. Level 3 Dark Ranger. That's a big black arrow. FoCuS. Is this the right choice? Going into this army with the 2 destroyers. The wolves don't do anything on the ground. He's coming in with the big stomp. He wants to nuke as he sees that there's no TP. But guess what? Death Pact.
Super smart Death Pact choice. The Death Knight saved that way. The Torrent Chieftain almost falling. No, but getting away.
Is there another Invo Potion in the shop? He might need it. That could have been death for both of the players here. High risk play. And Snare on the DK once again. Does he want to eat another unit? That would be very expensive. Blocking himself a little bit. The Endurance Aura, of course, comes in handy. Only level 1 Unholy.
Oh, where are the Fiends? He needs a Death Pact.
Whoa, last second. That was so clutch. TC versus DK. Here comes the stomp, and that's the kill. DK dead. TC survives, and the destroyer is gone as well. Lich in trouble. There's another stomp. Lining it up only gets the Dark Ranger. But the Wyvern are way too fast. Another Ensnare flies. That's the double kill. That's GG. And that's the tie in the winner bracket final. Even a little smile on the face, shaking his head, like, oh god, that was a little harder than expected. But FoCuS takes TR.
Ooh, that was a close one. Almost looked like 120 turned that in his favor. A little bit of overconfidence by 120. If he just buys a TP to be able to get out after the red camp, this game could have looked very good for him. He could have TP'd back to his side of the map, taken the red camp there, could have gotten to those 4-4-3 levels, and could have restored back on health. FoCuS definitely was under a lot of pressure there towards the end. He had to win that game very quickly, and 120 gave him that opportunity. A little bit of a misplay there, I think, a little bit too confident. A rare mistake to happen to 120, but that gives us a third map. That's exactly what we want, and 120 now can follow up on his own map choice.
Can we make this a best of 5 or a best of 7? Can we have, please, very, very more of this? I want this. I want this very much. My stream stuttering a bit. I don't know if it's the same for you, but we have the highlights coming up.
Yeah, very fun game. Both players here playing around each other very well. Knowing how aggressive they have to be, how greedy they can afford to be. This is the fight where FoCuS is up by around 10 supply or so. Loses this fight. And 120 was definitely feeling himself after this.
How did he save that destroyer, man? That was crazy. He's crazy with these units. Dispelling so much, healing with it, full mana, able to go back into the fight.
And this is where 120 should have bought the TP. But he goes to the red without it. A little overconfident that FoCuS does such a good job of punishing right away.
And he had 700
Great
gold.
job with the TC as well. Keeping that TC alive for as much as he did, using the multiple invul potions.
Yeah, after the botched first one, he did that really well. At that point, when he went to the red spot, 120 at 700 gold, there would have been an easy pit stop at the shop to get something. But he wanted to cut corners as he knew that FoCuS's expansion was running for a bit. And that led to his demise.
But still, of course, has a chance here on Northern Isles. His map pick. I love seeing Northern by 120. I still remember games of his against Lin here, where he knew exactly where he had to be in the early stages. 120, an undead who usually plays very aggressively. That is, if we're talking about DK Fiends versus Blade Master. Is that what we're going to be seeing? We haven't seen it at all this tournament yet. It's either been Farseer or Crypt Lord. The meta is very different nowadays. Very few players, very rarely is it the case that both players adhere to the old standard. And this map, by the way, is also pretty good for fast expansion. Not as easy as Northern, but doable.
I would think that it's again Farseer Firelord versus Cryptlord DK Lich.
Yeah, and this is where FoCuS defeated 1-0 before with a Farseer Firelord. This will be a little harder to deal with than on Echo. And with that recent loss in mind, maybe 1-0 does play it differently then. Maybe he does go for a DK. And this switch in strategy is, of course, also something that FoCuS will have at the forefront of his mind. So it's a little bit of gambling here.
Yes.
Which opening build are you going for? What are you expecting from your opponent? You have to make a choice.
This is what it's all about. If you win the next map, you are just 3 steps away from it. Quarterfinal, semifinal, grand final. 5 wins are needed to grab the trophy. Both have 1 win behind them. Who's gonna get the second one? In the upper right, the Necromancer, the DreamHack champion, 1-2-0. In the bottom left, for the Lao Pao Esports Club, the next champion in FoCuS. So, Cryptlord Farseer again is the first question we have to raise.
And the answer is no here by 1-0. He is going for a Ted Fiend build with a DK, which makes a lot of sense. On this map, it's very dangerous again to go up against the Farseer Firelord pressure. Is FoCuS reading this? No. He's going Farseer. Would have been a crazy read if FoCuS expected this switch now and would be responding with his own change. But no, he's going Farseer again, which is, of course, not hopeless against the DK. It's not like you can't win with a Farseer, but you would prefer a Blade Master.
Okay, let's see if it's still the Firelord then, or if he plays Farseer TC. Like before. Super important. What a match. The winner follows Fly into the round of 8. The loser is up against the winner of the next and last match of the day in Lin versus Fortitude. And of course, if you win, that's $1,200 guaranteed. Who deals better with the
find
pressure?
out soon what's happening here. Now he sees the DK, and he does not like what he's seeing. A little bit of experience for the Death Knight as well. Can go for the green camp. FoCuS changes course. Realizes it wouldn't do that much to be aggressive. It can be really cool to move across the map and take out the little Murloc camp. That makes reaching level 2 for the DK very early on impossible. But FoCuS wants to get the first item on his side. Replenishment potion. Always nice to have. And then, what's the follow-up now for FoCuS? His plan was to pressure an expansion. That's not the case, so what's plan B? Normally, when we see Farseer by the Orc against Standard, what you want to do is play a tier 2 expansion with the Torn Chieftain, just like we saw on Turtle Rock. But this time, he's not going up against the Ghoul build. We're going to have Fiends coming out for 1-0 very soon.
Yeah. How well does the Firelord work against Fiends and no mass when you can't really attack with Incinerate? I think it's not that likely to see anymore. Pressure begins. DK gets it. Farseer still trying to do the best he can, but against Aura, it's not that easy. Gets level 2 across the map. Can operate with Chain Lightning now.
DK has +9 damage now, by the way. Not historically the greatest damage dealer,
+8.
but in this early game, this matters. For trading, for creeping, it's definitely a decent help.
Remo here doesn't remember his own balance changes, of course. +8 damage with the claw +5.
Oh yeah, true.
So, Chain Lightning versus Coil. Coil wins. That's more experience on the DK.
Oh, item.
Replenishment.
Oh, that replenish is so good right now.
Both have one.
And the DK seems like he definitely needs it.
Heavy brawling in the middle. Both have summons, of course. That's when you feel quite comfortable. Grunts are coming in. No option to surround at the moment. DK needs it indeed. Stays on Blight for this little extra regen.
tier... Wait, no, that's tier 2. So I was like, what tier 3? That can't be.
Yeah, level 2 skirmishes here. No one with a big lead at the moment. It's the calm before the storm. FoCuS is the one to expand. 1-0. Will he push it? Or will he level up and then push it? It's the TC. Moving away from the Fire Lord.
Bisuri, Warmill. Yeah, I think the Fire Lord only hero you can play from being ahead. This is a very even game here. Experience-wise, items-wise. Well, I guess items-wise, 1-0 is ahead. Farseer going to the top left. But 1-0 is trailing him. The skeleton scouting from the Necromancer, of course, always outstanding. FoCuS doing a good job here scouting with his wolves as well. Oh, I love that he has the Acolyte still alive to look at the gold mine.
That's really not bad. And 1-0 will be facing a Farseer now, but very limited potential. Do you want to spam your mana now? Unlikely. He's just delaying this creep a little and buys time for the TC as the rest of the army pulls back. 1-0 has identified this by now, and of course to confirm it, as you say, the Acolyte in the south. TC with Aura first. Frost armor for the Lich. No big items yet. We arrive at a comfortable tier 2. And now can FoCuS get the expo up.
Ideally in this stage, you would love to be level 3 Farseer. With that, you can apply a lot of pressure with the wolves. Yes. But since he's only level 2, it's not that scary. These wolves really don't do all that much. And since there's Frost armor active, it's even less, I suppose.
You got a
the tech is coming up.
Got a little steal with the Chain Lightning. And now level that cow. Or, as Angry Korea Man said, the Cattle Man. Ring is nice for him. He will be in focus fire, and especially if the Lich is equipped with 2 claws, it's gonna be powerful.
1-0 chooses to not pressure the expansion attempt right away, but just creeps up for now. May let the expansion finish, or may want to try to cancel it later on. Orc Expos take a very long time, 2.5 minutes to finish. So there is still a window here. This Acolyte was providing so much intel. Now finally went down. And the scout follow up with the skeleton right away. 1-0 always knows what's up.
Yeah, his skeleton usage got him a nickname. But against Farseer TC claiming the middle, really hard to do. Raider Scout, it's a very, very fast unit who can lock down his opponents. So scouting with Raiders is nice. TC. Wand of the Wind. An item that has decided many, many games in the past.
Yeah, that's a game changer. Against DK, absolutely tremendous. This Lich not level 2 yet, by the way. He needs that for the Frost Nova.
On the other side, Farseer, Nor TC, close to level 3. Ooh, he wants to engage with Ensnare, though. Can he force the TP?
Got purged by the creeps.
Wand of the Wind used for the first time. That's probably a surround. It's a lot of damage that can't be prevented. But here's Nova. Chain Lightning use. We do have Stomp on the TC. There we go. Onto the Fiend, interestingly. Here's the Coil. Didn't use the second Wand of the Wind. Oh, he did use the second Wand of the Wind already. Grunts are falling. Who can get more kills? Second Stomp invested. Long range Coil. He can't shut down this Death Knight.
Yeah, this is a disaster for FoCuS. He was feeling overconfident with that Wand of the Wind, but it's only level 2 TC. He dove too hard.
TC
surrounded now. And guess what? Oh, is he getting out? No, he's not. He's just dead.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible for FoCuS. Yeah, One wrong decision.
That does not bode well. That almost looks like game. TC revive from the tavern. Low HP, no mana, and now we have a Dark Ranger as well. We're gonna have some Dark Minions bolstering up the undead forces here very soon. 1-0 already with the supply lead against an expanding tier 2 orc. That is not what FoCuS wants.
He needs to hero focus and hope for TP, right? That's the only chance he really has. Coil Nova is there, maybe hoping for Devour, but it's hard to reach as the Fiend position is really good behind the heroes, behind the statues. Statue is gone now. He gets a little bit more mana. Fiends are very well spread, so the TC, even if he has mana, has only one target.
Yeah, these heroes are just doing it right now. Maybe FoCuS can kill some Fiends, but he can never kill these heroes. And the statues will be coming in. More and more kills for 1-2-0. Still sitting at around 50 supply. Hardly any damage output. And that's what happens if you don't have a massive army on tier 2. GG is called 1-2-0. Our winner.
Our winner in the playoffs once again, just like he was in the summer. That was FoCuS giving him the game there. In the end, the control was pretty crazy with the Fiends spread all over. The heroes doing tons of damage. So the Necromancer follows Fly into the round of 8. And that is indeed a great day for China. It can be a perfect day for China if Fortitude now defeats Lin.
That is going to be very tough to do, even if Lin is not looking to be in his greatest shape ever currently. He is still insane in this matchup. Lin against Human had a ridiculous win streak not too long ago and is the guy to look out for. Can he bounce back? Lin in the lower bracket and Fortitude. What's he going to look like? He took a map off of 1-2-0, which was very hard fought. In this lower bracket, I'm going to have to say goodbye to one of these.
Indeed, that's going to be crazy. It might very well be Lin. That's the moment where 1-2-0 takes the game, or where FoCuS gifts the game to 1-2-0. That's easy kills. That's the necessary level 2. That's the Raider gone in a bit. After that, Nova and the TC can't really connect too well. Frost Armor, a very, very powerful weapon in exactly situations like these. And the DK was uncontested. Once he was out of the air from the Wand of the Wind, he threw coils like crazy, saved everything, TC surrounded, game.
Yeah, I can understand FoCuS here. He had that Wand of the Wind, he got the speed scroll ready. The Lich didn't have Nova yet. It seems like a very enticing situation, but beautiful positioning by 1-2-0. Bending behind that tree line, making FoCuS overextend way deep, and he had the statues set up, the Fiends split. It took way too long to take out those targets. And once the DK can throw coils again, that is just a complete disaster. 1-2-0. Honestly, he almost won all 3 maps. I would argue that he kind of threw away the second one. So 1-2-0 also looking to be in very strong shape. FoCuS looking good as well, but the slightly weaker player today.
Yeah. I think if Lin is not turning it up to 11 here today in the next match, FoCuS goes into the lower bracket final as the favorite against Lin. This is something I didn't really think I would say in 2020, but you know, 2020 is 2020. Lots of crazy stuff is happening. Can FoCuS go this one step further and repeat his round of 8 performance? Would be nice for him, of course. Fortitude fighting for survival. Last time he wasn't even at the Gold Series. Was defeated by Fly and TH in the wildcard qualifier. This time, he got the revenge. He made it over TH, and can he repeat his top 4 performance of exactly 1 year ago? That's on the line next.
Yeah, this is a matchup he's been asking for, isn't it? He wanted to play up against Lin. He wants to get the revenge from the WGL there before. That is, careful what you wish for, is what I would say to that. Because Lin has shown in the past how insane he is in that matchup. His games, Lin versus Infi, are always so amazing to see. They push the envelope of this matchup for a long time. A matchup that also is in a constant state of evolution. We used to see a lot of breakers in the past. Is that still the case? Probably not. With breakers having been nerfed recently, rifles buffed again, I imagine there's a shift happening there as well. WGL is oftentimes the tournament that defines the meta in many cases.
At least until the next big tournament, that's for sure, when players come up with new solutions to the challenges they faced at WGL. And the next big tournament is just next week. It's time for DreamHack Asia Winter to start very soon. And what's here about to start is our winner interview with 1-2-0. Yesterday and 2 days ago, BBC got quite a chuckle out of these players. Seems to be doing a good job, good stage host over there in Shanghai.
Yeah, BBC and the fans together with their wonderful fan questions.
And we got Aragon, Wong, and Vangolia to help us out with the translation.
这场的对手是 FoCuS， 其实在赛前的话，这个大家对 FoCuS 在本次比赛的状态还是非常看好的。然后他前不久也拿了一个冠军的这样的一个荣誉。这场比赛本来之前跟你聊天也觉得你好像对这场挺担心的，但是今天赢的还算比较顺利吧？为什么能今天做到这样的一个战绩？
其实今天的比赛比我想象中的要艰难一点吧。其实赛前我还是很有信心能战胜 FoCuS 的，因为 最近我也是练习打兽族比较多，包括和 Fly 啊和一些。
So first question, prior to this game, the fans thought that FoCuS is strong since he won next, or stronger since he won next. So how did you feel about this going into the match? I thought today's match was tough, was a little tougher than I expected, to be honest. But I was very confident and I practiced a lot with Fly and Lin, interestingly. They're, of course, all over there in Shanghai. On Turtle Rock, you had the leading position in the game, in the early, late game. But then you lost it. What's the reason for that? So it wasn't really the items here. Okay, the question continues. Was it because of items? No. Items weren't really the answer. It was the DK and the statues, and I had a lot of destroyer, so not really too sure. He was also definitely surprised by the double beastery, I guess. I think for the third map, the DK versus Farseer matchup is a pretty good one for the Undead in the early game. And with the One of the Wind, he kind of misjudged the situation and was a little bit too ambitious, so that's how I won the third game. Fan question. Why do you always use the same strategy in best of 3 and best of 5? Can you win if you change your strategies? That's an interesting question. I don't really support that, but okay. He says, I'm hard-headed. I will keep using the same strategies until I win. So yeah, he looks and sounds pretty confident in the top 8 of the world once again. 1-2-0. FoCuS still alive. Has his match on Friday against the winner of the next match. It's Fortitude versus Lin. And throughout the series, we got once again a couple of supporters. Thank you, Threepwood II, for the 47-month resub. Missed it the end of last month, going to make the 4 years full of joy with you in January 2021. Thank you very much for that. Margron with a 33-month resub. TZ for 20-month. Swallow, 7-month resub, as well as Swift. Thank you guys so much for the support. We are definitely relying on your support. And you can do that with a sub here on Twitch, with the direct contribution via PayPal. The link is in the description. You can also buy our merchandise or use the Amazon ref link. If money is a little short these days, you can definitely support us as well if you want to. Send us nice messages on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We got a Discord as well. Every like, every reach, every interaction supports the channel, increases the reach, and helps that more people know about this channel and Warcraft competitive and this gold tournament, which is very, very wonderful. We go into a break, 8 minutes, and then we're back with the last match of the day, Lin versus Fortitude.